So our third policy, of course, is enshrine our freedoms, and we believe we're at a really important juncture because no one is arguing for freedom at the moment. Everyone's arguing the bottom line, basically, and the need to continue to provide material wealth. It's like we're stuck in this cycle of having to have material wealth no matter what. And we've gotten to a point in the culture where we need to ask ourselves exactly who we are and why we're here. And I just cannot believe that as a child going to school, I didn't learn about the Australian Constitution. I had no civic understanding of the Australian Constitution whatsoever. So when the government started to act in draconian fashion, as far as I was concerned, in response to this pandemic, I had no resources to understand why I should have any liberty. And our forefathers actually knew this. They knew this, and they enshrined our freedoms and liberties in the Constitution. And it seems to me now that the Constitution has become a bit anachronistic because it was enshrined in 1901 at Federation in the exhibition buildings in Carlton. Now the world has moved on. It's such a different place than it was then, and it doesn't seem to be any argument for liberty anymore. And particularly as we have, international institutions, non-government organisations that are unelected and unaccountable to anyone, but particularly unaccountable to the Australian people. The World Economic Forum and their leader Klaus Schwab, who's so interested in the Great Reset, and he wants to augment, human biology with artificial intelligence. There's the United Nations, of course, and what their designs are to lead a one world government, and of course the WHO, the World Health Organisation, with Tedros, their leader, who's an avowed and committed Marxist. And there's all this talk that they will, if there's another pandemic, that they'll actually be responsible for the response to the pandemic in Australia. Is that just fear-mongering, or is there some truth in that? And one thing I've come to accept over the last 2 years, that anything is potentially possible, and I don't trust my institutions anymore. I don't have faith in my institutions anymore. I don't even entrust them to enshrine my freedoms, my constitutional freedoms. But there's pointless us reaching a point where we're demoralised and hopeless, unable to even make an argument on our behalf. And the argument has to be for liberty, because I was born with inalienable rights as a human being, as all Australians were born with inalienable rights. And these rights need to be defended. And the only way to defend them is to talk about them, speak up on their behalf. And that's what we're doing at Damien Richardson, Independent, for the Senate. So please, this coming federal election, vote 1 for Damien Richardson for the Senate, so you can make sure that your freedoms will be enshrined, because together we can move forward to freedom. Spoken by D. Richardson, authorised by D. Richardson, Melbourne.